What's going on, guys? I'm back with another one. And I just watched a movie called Nope, starring Daniel Kahlua, my boy, Keke Palmer, and Steven Yeun. First of all, I want to apologize for how long it's been taking me to put this video out, because I've been under the weather. All right, and I'm slowly getting back to normal. So once again, apologies for that. Apologies. Okay. First of all, for real, let's get into the history of Jordan Peele. All right, as far back as I can remember, he first started out with Mad TV. Him and his lifelong comedy partner, don't take that the wrong way, Michael Key, all right? And they were killing it on that show. They were the duo you didn't know you wanted till it was too late, okay? Now, who knew years later they'd have their own show, Key and Peele, baby. That was a phenomenal show, knockout show right there. It's hilarious. The way they came at these jokes were just different, far from anybody else with the skits and jokes, because they're coming from the mind of a half-breed guy, all right? A guy who has the best of both worlds, as I like to say, you know, and they were coming from that angle, and it just worked. It worked, okay? Then, I don't know which order this came in, but Get Out was their first phenomenal directed movie, especially for Jordan Peele. Now, with this movie, it was great. It was such a good movie because, especially for guys that dated outside their race, okay, and, you know, black guys who didn't date black women, they dated white women, and when they go to see this movie, they're thinking now, okay, so now do I have to be you know, cautious of the white women I date? Okay, what's going on here? It really put that question in the air, and it really gave people the power to make that joke. You gotta watch out for the yes. It really boosted that joke up. It was a great movie, just a good movie, brilliant, well thought out to the T. Loved it. Then came Keanu. This was obviously not going to be as deep as Get Out, all right? Obviously. It was more of a comedy, a straight-up cartoonish comedy. You got two guys who are missing a kitten, or a kitten gets kidnapped, and they go all out for this kitten. Further than anybody else would actually go for a cat, all right? And it's hilarious for what it is. Not the greatest movie in the world, but it's decent. It was decent. Then Us came out. Highly disappointed with this movie. I know he tried for the same thing as he did with Get Out, as to preach a message, but this message didn't get through quite that clear. It was, the ending was so cliche. Like you've seen 1,000 other movies that ended like this, which killed it for me. And a lot of the other things that killed it for me before that, but that movie didn't deliver. It didn't deliver. I'm sorry. And so then, or should I say now, we have Nope. And my question is, will Nope make up for that last blunder? Will it be at least as good as Get Out? We're about to find out. Let's go. Nope. For those who don't know, for those who are not aware, if you don't know about this movie by now, you're somewhere on a horse ranch being chased around by an unidentified flying object of some sort. All right, you have no time to really be concerned about social media or anything like that, because everybody else knows about this movie. Don't play me. Do not play me. No. It's pretty much about this guy who grew up in this family business of training horses. All right, his dad did it. Now he's doing it. Well, of course, way back then, before his dad, there were other guys doing it as well. And there's a unique dynamic between him and his sister, or the situation with that. Won't get into that right now. But, so he's offered a job, all right, to, for horse training on a set. He gets fired, he goes to that little tragedy. So he's trying to find out a way that he can make some kind of deal or something, get some kind of money going, right? So he hooks up with this guy, played by Steven Yeun, who has some incredible backstory on his end already. And they do business despite their sister intervening. And so he's got to get his horses ready, or get everything ready. But while that's going on, while he's on that ranch, he notices something strange with one of the horses. The horse was there, and then it all of a sudden just kind of flew up in the sky, like like a tornado lifted it up or something. And that's not normal. Okay, so now he's got to figure out what the hell just happened. And it leads him to really get involved into this. What is the cause behind these disappearances of my horses? And what comes with that is something him or his sister never expected at all. A force they never saw coming. Okay? And that's the premise of the movie. Positives. I don't know what it is about a movie that starts out with a tragedy, but 9 times out of 10, that's 9 times out of 10, that doesn't mean all the way through. Usually, these movies are really good, man, because you got the tragedy at the beginning. You're already feeling some kind of compassion for these characters, because they've already suffered a loss. And at the beginning of this movie, of course, it's in the trailer. This is not a spoiler. Their father takes a big one. He bites the big one. All right. He is let's say he gets drive-by shooting by coins in the sky. They're gonna say how that happened or how that's possible, but he gets murdered by coins. All right, flying coins while he's on his horse. And the way that just went off is like if you heard a couple of noises and some things hit the ground, kind of like bullets. So you'll think at first it's a sniper, but it's not. But for now, let's just say it's a sniper, okay? And you're looking around like, what happened? And then before you can even question this, the father is slumping over on his horse, and it's so sad. It's so sad because you knew from that scene the father wasn't gonna make it. Of course, you can see it in the trailer, but even watching this without the trailer, you know that the father's not gonna make it. All right, and then with the son, he still tries all his best to comfort him and everything he can do for him. And I was like, oh my God, man, I can't imagine my parents going like that, or anybody, loved ones or anything, just suffering like that. That's crazy. That is such a bizarre way to die. Okay. Another positive. Daniel Kahlua, my boy, killed it again. He killed it again as his character in this movie. I forgot the name of the guy. That's all right. His name will be at the bottom of the screen. Don't worry about that. But his character in this movie, it reminds me of the Messiah movie. With the way he talks, but it's not quite like that. He doesn't talk quite like that in this movie. It's another kind of a southern or whatever type of speech. But what really brought it home was his ability to say 1 or 2 words and just give you that facial expression. And you knew by the way he was looking that he meant business, which is a huge disconnection from how his sister acted. And we'll get into that later on, trust me. But for this is a positive right here. His character was the well-centered one. He had a business mind. He knew, well, he wasn't a great talker as far as, the charismatic one. He wasn't charismatic. But at the same time, when it came down to business, he knew what to do. He knew to get straight to it. Okay? Connection with animals. That's another huge positive for this movie. The connection this movie had with animals. And there's certain parts in this movie that kind of show Easter eggs of what's to come. You know what I'm saying? Without saying too much. And you kind of get it. Like a lot of, because they're already training horses. All right. Now, you know, animal cruelty can go on and that and other parts of this kind of profession. And this movie really presses the fact that some animals are not meant for Hollywood. Let's just put it like that. Without saying too much, some animals are not meant for Hollywood. Okay? I'll get into that a little later on. But for now, there are so many animal connections. There was the old man watching these films. Every time this old man was in the scene, he was watching films of animals eating other animals. Okay, that's a huge foresight to come right there. Just to say, I'm not without saying too much. All right, so keep in mind of that. But it's just I'm jumping around a certain situation because I can't really mention like I want to. But this really had a strong connection with animals. All right. My last positive, the twist. The twist was so crazy. I'm a very creative guy, trust me, but I would have never thought to do this. Okay, let's just say that a route that you would immediately think that they're going with this movie is not where they're going. Okay, it's a certain situation with the antagonist. Okay, I'm not gonna say too much else, but it's just the way that it's done. It's very creative. It's highly creative. Okay, I've never seen a sci-fi movie do something like this ever. And Jordan Peele gets a 100 points for doing that. This will go down in history as one of the most creative antagonists. Okay? I just put it like that. Negatives. The sister, played by Kiki Williams. Again, I forgot the character's name. I apologize immensely. But the sister was so annoying. She was irritating to no end. And she was so hard-headed, and you couldn't tell her anything. This guy told her, please, when I go on to do this business deal, you need not to say anything. All right? So don't say a word. Do you think that she kept her mouth shut? Now, granted, it did lead to some other aspects of the movie, but do you seriously think she kept her mouth shut? No, she never listened ever. She would sit there and she would agree like she's listening, but she was just the most difficult character to deal with. And there's a lot of times the looks that the brother gave her were just they were needed. They were well needed, man, because she was a piece of work. Okay, it's okay to have that because she had the charisma. She was a charismatic person, but it gets to a point where it's driven over the line. It's too much. It's a little too much to the point where you're messing up other situations for other people. All right. Another negative. There really could have been more gore, especially dealing with the antagonist, the UFO, as we'll call them for now. We'll call that for now, a UFO. That thing you see flying around in the previews. It's just a flying saucer, whatever's going on in there. Let's just say there were some interesting ways that the UFO did its thing, way it came out. But I really wanted to see some more close-up deaths instead of the most of the innuendos that happened with this. There were a lot more innuendo-ish stuff going on. Trust me, there's some blood. You'll see. There's blood. There's definitely blood. But I wanted to see different kinds of deaths going on with this situation. I just wanted to see that. One time. That's all I wanted. Something that would make me be like, oh, snap. You get to see this up close. At least one part in the movie where the victims or whoever is being messed with by this antagonist or abducted, they say a certain sentence in this movie, or something that's said, and you can tell by that it's whatever's happening to them is gruesome. I would have liked to have seen that all the way. Last negative. There's a storyline dealing with Stephen Young's character where there's a certain animal that he was connected to back in his younger days. And because of a horrible incident that went down with that, he is now hell-bent on his whole career is hell-bent on that situation. Okay? He prides himself on what he does because of that. But after everything is said and done, with what's done with his character, it's unsatisfying. It's unsatisfying. I really wish they could have went a little further with that. Just saying, without giving too much away. With all that said, I'm giving this a hell yes. Yes, a hell yes. This is right up there with Get Out. I'm sorry, this is right up there with Get Out. Hands down, it's good. It's good. Trust me, it's way better than Us. It puts Us in the dirt. Straight up. All right? No worries. Press that like button, subscribe, and you better share this.